I'd like to talk about addiction.
Good.
And bad habits.
Good.
Yeah. I smoke cigarettes, and I would like
Stop
to
it. What else?
not do that.
So your question is?
I don't know why I do it. There are times where I feel like, oh, I'm enjoying this, but majority of the time I don't. It's just, I don't know.
Well, there's something bigger to talk about than the specifics of that action, because that action is an impulse, and an impulse has momentum behind it. So the question that is really worth identifying is it, what influence am I under when I feel that impulse? The other day we were having a conversation with someone about food. Let's just go there just for a moment. And we wanted this person to understand that when you've practiced being in alignment with who you are, which means you feel pretty good most of the time, you go from satisfied to feeling really satisfied to happy, lighthearted, and you might occasionally dip into some negative emotion, but you don't stay there very long. You have control of the way you feel because you've practiced the way you're thinking. And so we said to this person that sometimes you can be in complete alignment with who you are and have an impulse to eat something that's on your list of things not to eat, because your inner being is responsive to the trillions of cells in your body. Now, this is a statement we make to you often. This is a basis of what's coming next. So just hear this strong statement. Your inner being knows where you stand in relationship with everything that you want. Did you hear that? Your inner being knows what the path of least resistance is for you to move from where you are to everything that you want. Big statement. Did you hear it? Which means your inner being, who is also aware of the trillions of cells in your body, knows the path of least resistance for every one of those cells to get to where they want to be, these pure positive energy consciousnesses that are your cells. But this is the big statement. Your inner being knows where you stand, what's around you in relationship with what you want. So your inner being has the ability to help you to gather the cooperative components from where you are to help you get to where you want to be. Are you following this? And do you sort of kind of believe it? Let's say that you are in an environment where you have access to this much substance that we are calling food, and that your cells are asking for something. Now, in this vortex, you want energy, you want clarity, you want vitality. There are all kinds of things that you want that are all dovetailing together, and the cells of your body are already cooperative components. And so let's say that the cells of your body are requesting something that they need in order to operate at top performance. And what they need in order to operate at top performance is available in your pantry or in this restaurant or in your vicinity, and is known by your inner being to be contained in that particular Snickers bar, which is on your don't eat list. There are all kinds of things that you've made the decision that you're not going to do, that if you were really in sync with your inner being would give you an impulse toward it. Did you follow that? Can you accept it a little bit? Humans make these decisions, and we are sure that as these impulses are occurring to you about a variety of different things, sometimes you have an impulse for some vegetables and some fruits or more liquids. There's a lot of things, but in many cases, the impulse that you have, which is coming from inspiration directly from your inner being, is in somebody's book that says don't eat it. So what we're getting at is you sort of kind of have to decide that you're going to be a little less human as you follow these impulses. Now, on a subject like smoking, almost no one these days can put that in a category that my inner being inspired me to smoke. But what if your inner being inspired you to be alone? Smoking will get that done. What if you wanted some alone time? How many people actually carve time out of their day to go off by themselves and sit and contemplate who aren't smoking? We're just saying. It isn't all bad. In other words, some of the intentions that you hold, what if that were some of the impetus behind some of those impulses? What we are really saying to you is, don't be so ready to call yourself doing the wrong thing, and be more ready to call yourself wanting to be inspired to doing something that is of advantage to you. Because we know this for sure, every single person who has decided that they're not going to do something does it more, because when you focus upon it, it becomes more active. And so we would step back. This is a situation where, as our friend was just asking whether to be more specific or more general, this is a situation where we would be more general. Rather than saying, do I want to smoke or not, we would step back into a more general place. What is it that I really want? I want vitality. I want good feeling body. I want living happily ever after. Speak in more general terms. And eventually, once you isolate how you really want to feel, the impulse that will get you there will be strong within you. Something that's really difficult for humans is that you have vibrational things going on. You know, earlier when we were talking about what are cooperative components to worry, or what's a cooperative component to overwhelmment, smoking is a cooperative component to overwhelming. Smoking is a cooperative component to stress, isn't it? And couldn't it be well-meaning? So go forth and smoke. That's not what we're saying, is it? That's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is, don't do something and feel bad about it. That's what we're saying. When you do something and feel bad about it, it's the feeling bad about it that is your indication that you're not connected to your inner being. And your inner being will not leave you because you're smoking. You will not deprive yourself of your inner being because of this action that you are taking. But you will deprive yourself of your inner being because of your self-condemnation over this action that you are taking, because your inner being will not condemn you. And when you do, you cause separation. And it's separation from who you are that is destructive to your experience, not the activity. So people who gather statistics say, but these things seem to go together. Well, they go together for a reason. In other words, they go together because people who usually feel like that have enough resistance that they're pinching off their replenishing mode. You heard some stuff. Now you want to talk?
Yeah, I mean,
what we're saying to you is, it's not the action that we want you to address. It's the way you feel behind the action. And more, as you find more moments in time to feel satisfied, you may very well find your impulses shifting. But until you have isolated for yourself what satisfaction is, you won't know for sure what impulses are coming from being under the influence of your inner being, or what impulses are coming from being under the influence of something else. And you kind of got to figure that out. So we don't want you to address the behavior. We want you to address what influence you're under, and then the rest is easy. Make sense?
Yeah.
A lot of people just want somebody to tell them, do that and don't do that. Or at least that's what you say. Till somebody like your mother tells you don't do that, and you say, you're not the boss of me. You really don't want somebody else defining for you. And we want you to know you've already defined it, and your inner being knows the path for you to have everything that you want.
Yeah, that makes sense. Feeling the condemnation has made it worse.
Addiction is twofold. It's the vibrational attraction, but there's another thing. When you introduce something to your body, to these trillions of cells, you know what they are? They are so wonderful, incredible, amazing, adaptive, flexible. They adjust. They make the best of everything you give them. Be more like them. They do. They make the best of everything you give them, which means they compensate. They find their resources and they continue to thrive. And that compensation that they do when you introduce something that may be foreign to them, or maybe even not in their best interest, let's even go that far, their adaptation translates to you like a craving, because they adjust and get a little momentum going in order to adapt to what you've offered them. We want to say to you, your evolution is a lot about things in your environment that you would deem not good for you, that you can't do anything about. So aren't you pretty darn happy that your cells have the ability to adapt to them? Did you hear what we said? In this ever-changing environment, aren't you glad that you are adaptive? Do you really want your cells to be so incapable of adaptation that you don't experience any evolution or any change? We don't think that's what you want. So let's bless the adapting tendencies that you have and understand it and give yourself some leeway with it, and in doing so feel less vulnerable. Your amazing cells make you less vulnerable. So your cells aren't judging you. Your inner being isn't judging you, isn't calling something inappropriate. You know who is? Other humans who are humaning, who are not looking at the big picture, who are not under the influence of their inner being, you see. So there's a whole lot of people who are being judged by others and controlled by others, who are trying to find the guidance of the fickle others, and we love them all so much. But have you ever tried to stand on your head to please one of them, and as soon as you think you've got it down, then they change their mind about what they want from you? It's crazy making. Your inner being is consistent and loving you and wanting the best for you, and the best for you is the most likely for you. And so if you can just relax and be easier about things, then everything gets easier. Yeah? You hear it all?